Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Welcome to Esports Integrated Conference. Today with me we have Wong from Geek, Eric from Fnatic, and Andrew from EVOS Malaysia. So they'll be sharing with me today about their journey in and their experience throughout their years in esports industry, especially being a professional esports team manager. But first, let's get to know our guests first. Let's start with Andrew. Please
Hello.
introduce yourself a bit and introduce a bit about EVOS and how you jumped into EVOS. Share with us your journey and yourself about yourself.
Hello everybody. My name is Andrew. I'm from EVOS. I'm team manager for EVOS VIP PUBG team in Malaysia. So how did I get to EVOS is during last year before the pandemic. I was in another team previously. So when EVOS wanted to have branch out to Malaysia, so they scouted me and I decided to join them. So here I am today.
I
That's
see.
all.
So basically, it was a very quick journey for you. You were scouted
Correct.
as a. Yeah, I see. I see.
Mhm.
And moving forward, let's move on to our next guest today, Mr. Wang. Do share with us a bit about your journey in esports, about yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Weng. Uh, I entered Geek Fam from the starting of the establishment of Geek Fam. I'm handling mostly all the teams, but I'm passing my jobs around to the new managers. Also, Geek Fam has like 5 teams, I think. So, anything else you want me to share? I'm not sure what to say.
I mean, like Wang, from the stories that I heard about you, right? You have quite the resume. Your work experience. How do you end up falling into esports?
How do I it's like randomly. I was approached not to be a manager, but it seems that I had the skills to handle young boys that only wants to play game. That only
So
wants to play
for
game. Yeah.
so for the ladies out there, you heard it here today. Wang is a potentially good father figure. Actually, can handle young boys who only want to play
Wow.
games.
That sounds wrong.
And last but not least, let's move on to our third guest today from Fnatic, one of the, I would say, more well established and esports team that has been around in the esports scene for quite some time. Mr. Eric, do share with us a bit about yourself and your team and basically how did you end up in esports?
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm the team director of Fnatic Dota. I handle the Dota team for the last the Fnatic Dota team for the last 6 years now. Previously, before I was a manager, I was a journalist for. I mean, journalist is a strong word. Writer for Ghost to Gamers, and I think my journey in esports is I basically set out to do esports to begin with. Back then, when I was a lot younger, and times were a little bit it's a dark days of esports. It's very dark days. People were getting
The dark ages.
mouse, people were getting mouse pads for salary. So back then, I think I saw the future and I set my sight on it. And well, I was a writer first, and then after that, eventually, I was given the opportunity by some very great guys, and ever since then, I was manager. And yeah,
I see. Was it like ever in your career goal to like participate in esports professionally, or was it exactly like what you said? Was it just an opportunity that you know presented itself in front of you?
I think I realized quickly enough that I was not good enough to be a esports player. But I do know many people in the esports scene. So basically, I was basically I took some opportunities which allowed me to expand my skill set a little bit. For me to expand my role in esports, and eventually, I got here because of that. I think so. For whoever helped me in my journey, so thank you very much.
All right. With that being said, let's jump into our topic for today: the your experience as a professional esports team manager. So, for the first question, let's start with Mr. Andrew again. As a team manager, what exactly is it what exactly are your roles for this position? Share with us a day in life of being a team manager for EVOS.
I think I think the first the main job is to take care of the players. Make sure they are okay. And make sure that there's nothing else beside gaming they should be worried about. They should just focus on playing the game and winning the tournament. Anything else, we as manager, we should supposed to handle it. Food, accommodation, tournament schedule, screams. So yeah. So if a day in EVOS, basically just screams, discussions, and me myself, I will talk to the content team about scheduling, about when my team need to do content, need to do things for the sponsors, and also some coaching stuff. I'm trying to be like half inside the game. I see any problem, maybe I can step in, but not as a tactical part, but more on like what should you say, the process. Yeah.
I see, I see. So it sounds like you have sort of like a multi-role in EVOS. It's like you're a team manager. At the same time, you're also somewhat like a content coordinator for your team as well, and as well
Uh,
a coach.
no, not per se a coach, but the teams that I'm handling right now is kind of young. As Wing said, they are boys. And my
Mm,
past experience, I've been working with players that are playing CS:GO for like 10 years, so their discussions are quite matured. So I bring that to the new team I am right now, so that they are well guided. They have a process of how do we do things here. So I guide them. And beside that, about the content thing, it's actually just um scheduling. Scheduling. Maybe I will give some ideas to the content team. So yeah, of course you can say I'm multi-role.
I see, I
Yeah.
see. Thank you very much. And let's
Mm.
shuffle the order a bit. So let's throw this question to Mr. Eric Khor. Would it be the same for your role in Fnatic, or is there something else that you would like to highlight for a day in life as a team manager in Fnatic?
Well, things changed because of the COVID, right? So a lot of my players are overseas. So basically, the daily stuff, day to day job, like food, etc., will be, oh, they have to take care of it themselves. They're at home, so they can't come to Malaysia. They can't come to the team house, so they have to take care of that themselves. But I mean, it is. But during non-COVID time, it is very similar to what Andrew said. But I think there are some extra stuff that I personally do. I just want to expand a little bit on what Andrew said as well. What
Mhm.
he meant by coaching is more like because we're not managers are not as technical as coaches in the game, but we do see anomalies in like communications, like tilting, and then some people are not performing. Why? Did he sleep enough? Like you kind of
Mm,
pinpoint the reason why, and basically you're creating. I personally created. I personally am responsible for creating a team culture for my team, and we want to work. We want everybody to strive towards that team culture where it promotes responsibility and also accountability for their actions. So do not get sick. I'm not saying that you will not get sick randomly, but please stay healthy as best as you can. Eat healthy, exercise, sleep early. So we are working on that as well. So that is I believe that everybody here does that to a certain degree. But yeah, I think that what Andrew said is pretty much on point.
Mm.
But I had to throw in the other part, the one other part as well. I also am responsible for looking for players. Basically, when roster changes happen, etc., etc. I am sort of the bridge in between the team and the organization. So
I
I'm
see.
responsible for a lot of back and forth communication, and also I give my input on why certain roster changes have to happen. Blah 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 blah. Blah. Sometimes it doesn't work out well. Sometimes it works out well. So it happens. It's always sort of a gamble in a way. So yeah, that's the basically the responsibility of manager.
I see. And just like you did mention something about the challenges because of the change of times because of COVID. I have a question about that, but more on that later. For now, let's throw the question to Mr. Wang. What's your take in this question? What is it like a day in life of a team manager for Geek Fam?
A day in the life of a team manager in Geek Fam. I think it's basically pretty much the same as the rest of them, but like Eric said, maybe because we are the link towards the management and uh, the players, so we need to make sure that the information gets upwards, go upwards, so that they know what is happening in between the team. We are the bridge to the social media. We are the bridge to the what. So we also need to plan like the social media needs to be coming out when the social media team knows when is the tournament and what tournament is coming up, what teams to include, what teams that are in there, so the social media teams know. The players need to understand that they're not allowed to play with their friends that are from the academy team. I think basically now, especially with COVID, then we have to go to the media days. We need to ensure our players are safe, PCR tests, any documents that we need to travel in case we get stopped by the police. And I do have international players here, so I need to know the process of the immigration, not only just their traveling. They need to make sure that they enter with the quarantine period, any updates of COVID, where is MCO, when MCO, shooting is different places, like gaming house to the shooting area, all that. I think basically the same, and yeah, everyone goes through the same problem.
I
The
see.
visa is a big thing. The visa is a big thing.
Yeah, the
The
visa
visa
is
is
the
a
big
big
thing.
thing. Okay, so the visa is a big thing, and actually, I am interested to know a bit more about because COVID is mentioned twice here already. So let's talk about some of the biggest challenges for you guys so far. And I'm throwing this question back to Mr. Eric because we're following up on the question earlier. Would you say that the pandemic has caused is one of the biggest challenges for you? If not, do share with us like what are some of the biggest challenges you face being a manager in esports?
Well, COVID definitely is causing a lot of issues. I'm not sure. Most of the other games, this problem is a lot less significant for Andrew and Wang, I assume, but because a lot of their players are in Malaysia itself, so they don't really have to go through my shit. Because all my players are all international. They were they're what I have one Thai, two Malaysian, and two Filipino, and one Canadian.
Oh,
And right now, there's nowhere we can go to do team houses or to do boot camp. And Dota is a very land game. It's a very land game. Like even training is a very land centric setup actually. Uh, so to not be able to have that situation, we needed to make a lot of adjustments to our training systems and all these other, basically all the normal systems that we do that to keep ourselves at a tip top shape, to keep ourselves, I mean, even diet, all the sleeping schedule, like it's hard to control when they're not like around me. Like nobody's gonna wake them up, who's gonna wake them up? Nobody's gonna wake them up. So it's very challenging. I mean, this is just the daily challenge, but there's also obviously the visa challenges. The what do you call it? I think this problem is very Dota exclusive, because we did not. I know that a lot of people went to Mobile Legends in Singapore. They
mhm.
went to PUBG Mobile in Dubai, and Tencent and Moonton were very very helpful when it comes to all these people, etc. But Dota, no, not really. They more or less, I mean, gave us a piece of paper and basically just good luck. And there's a lot of documents, man. I had to figure out documents for 5 countries, so it was very challenging. Yeah, it was a very stressful 3 weeks of my life that I'll never get back. But eventually we got there, and thank God. But well, hopefully I'm going to major again soon, so I probably have to go through all that again. Paperwork for COVID travels is it's not really that fun. Yeah.
I can imagine it not being any fun at all, any paperwork. So, thank you very much for that intake. Let's ask the same question to Andrew. Andrew, what would be some of your biggest challenges being a manager in esports?
If say for this pandemic, actually all my players are not from KL. They are from different states. So
Mm,
and we got a gaming house right in KL. And the problem is the MCO, and like Eric said, everybody is playing at home, so it's hard to control. So at the early start of the team, of formation of the team, all my players are on a different state because of MCO. So it's very hard to get to know him, get to, like he said, wake them up, scheduling everything. We have to trust them. Like I just said, the schedule they have to just follow. If they don't follow, I'm gonna call them. If they don't pick up, okay, what am I gonna do? We need to set a culture, right? So uh right after the MCO, we got the gaming house, everything, and I need to figure out paperwork, right? But luckily in Malaysia it's quite easy to get them to be here, MCO lifted, this kind of stuff. So for pandemic wise, it's okay for me.
I just want to follow up a bit on your answer there. So, with the MCO 3.0 being implemented, um, is it is your team currently in the gaming house together, or are they currently stuck outside of the KL state? Because you mentioned that
Uh,
your gaming house is in KL, but all your players, their hometowns are outside of KL.
we send them back right after the tournament.
I see.
So, it's a deserved rest, and everybody's back home, hometown. Just some of them are like in Kelantan, JB,
Oh,
Semenye, just like that. So the others are actually gone back Semenye, but it's still MCO for them. So
yes,
I'm alone in
correct.
the
So
gaming house, right?
basically, they're stuck again outside of KL.
Yeah. But it's off season, so it's okay.
So it should be okay. I see. And okay, in that case, let's move on to Weng. Weng. So, is there anything else that you like to highlight? Let's say if you do want to share a bit about your story, the challenges during the pandemic, or if there's anything that you want to highlight, some of the challenges of being a manager in an esports team.
I think during COVID, the only problem should be the players' mentality. Mental, not the mentality, because like you don't get to go home to see your parents like they normally do. Because like Andrew said, our players are nearby, so they are possible to travel and they can go back. But right now they can't, and then they shouldn't be actually going back to Raya because they could potentially get COVID, and it could affect the whole team. And MPI is land. And for sorry to say, I drew my PL not off season yet lah.
Uh,
So
Oh.
oh, okay.
Oh.
then
Okay.
like especially like those like tournaments right now, right? They like to do behind the scene. So they like to come to the venue. Then they bring their crew, like 20 people, to our gaming house. Then I need to ensure that all of them got like take their COVID test and provide the results and make sure that they follow the SOP in our house, because if they affect my players, it like gone already their career. Other than that, they spend more time together, which also they cannot leave the house. They always facing each other, so always going to have some problem internally also if your
I see.
players are not really bonding very well, or you don't get the bonding situation fixed properly. Then you will always have players who hate each other but doing the I don't want to talk to you, you don't want to talk to me, that type of situation.
I
Yeah.
see. Well, basically, boys being boys, lah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's clear the negativity a bit in the air. So let's shift the scene here. So let's talk about the best part of your job. So why don't we start with Weng straight away, since we're on a roll here with Weng. So Weng, what would you say is the best part of your job currently?
For me, it's I think the best I could do is we take players that are not really that known but has this potential and give them a platform to grow. That is one of my achievement. I think to me lah, if the players become a better person instead of just playing games. They know their overall what they need to do, what they need to be, how they need to present themselves. To me, if they do that, I improve on that for all of my players, then it's much better than winning. But winning is like the bonus.
I see. Wow, really, really like an actual father figure to the boys in Geek Fam. So let's push the same question to Eric. Eric, what would you say is the best part of your job? Would it be the same as Wang, or is there any additional stuff that you would like to add on to?
I mean, generally, the players are very fun people. Most of them are very young,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of a boomer already right now. So in esports at least, so like being around them, makes things very fun. They are very fun people. They are fun loving. They're all young. It makes you kind of feel young too. Do young stuff at least. So it makes it's very fun to be with the team. Obviously, with there are ups and downs, right? There are conflicting times as well, and there are good times and bad times. And during those bad times, you go through with them, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and when things are fixed, it feels amazing. It feels amazing. Obviously, as Wang said, winning tournaments are a bonus, yeah, but it is a bonus. But apart from that, all this spending time with them in general is and actually watching us improve like day by day. It actually is very satisfying. Like if you pull off I mean, how do you say this? Things don't improve overnight in general. Like that thing, it happens, but it doesn't happen often. But
Yeah, even Rome
yeah,
wasn't built in a day.
yeah, exactly. So when it does happen, and you see that the problems go away one by one, it is a very satisfying feeling to have. Yeah.
I see. Thank you very much. And Andrew, what's your take on this? What would be one of the best part of your job?
I I agree with Wang. You know, the players that come to us, we give them a platform. So to add on to Wang is like the players are here to be a better person. I hope I can be the guy that changed them for life, and EVOS can be a platform for them to grow and beyond. Even if they are not in EVOS, they will carry out the things that they learn from here and become a better person. And it's not like I'm teaching them also, I'm learning with them. Every player is different, so they have their niche, they have their special things that you need to
Mm,
adapt or have to change them or just to compromise. So it's quite a privilege to with players that are young, they are inspired to play, and we inspired for them to play better, and also
mhm.
they help us to to win and to grow the brand together. So that's really really that's the funnest part lah. Yeah. And
I
beside
see.
that, of course, winning.
Of course, winning,
Of
winning,
course,
winning is
winning,
always fun.
I
winning.
think
Yeah.
going to LAN, right? Also the best part, everything paid for by organizers.
Yeah. Different countries,
Different
people.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you
Yeah,
meet new people and all that. The
yeah,
excitement of going offline.
yeah.
I,
Okay.
Networking.
I disagree with that. But okay. It's actually not
There
more
you
fun for me. It's actually a lot more trouble.
Oh, well, understanding from your situation, I guess we understand why it would be more troublesome for you. The paperwork that you have to do
No,
to
no,
get your
no. I'm not
players
talking
over.
about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like
the
you go to
Dota
somewhere for.
community.
No, 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 no. It's
No.
not that.
Huh?
Dark
Um,
community.
like basically when you go to I mean when you're training in Malaysia, everything's under
Mhm.
control. Like you know
Mhm.
where to go and what to do. When you go to
Uh,
Ukraine, people you don't even speak the language. How the hell are you gonna order food? The food is like it just everything is a mess because you have no idea how to read the language and you have no idea how to speak the language, and it is not always the most fun. It can get very very stressful. Yeah.
true.
Okay, actually, moving on to the next question. I know that this question wouldn't be as relatable for Eric and Andrew, seeing that your team is not currently in a single gaming house. But let's say under normal circumstances, and given the fact that they are living in the same gaming house, so having the teams in the same house together, how do you balance their professional and personal relationship? Because, like Wang said just now, sometimes, right, these teams they face each other every day when they're actually working and outside working hours. Sometimes they share rooms, so technically internally problems and disputes tend to happen. So let's throw this back and Eric, let's say for your teams, how do you balance out this relationship issues
I mean,
professionally and personally?
this is something theoretically that I've been considering as well. I mean, technically, we can have a different place to sleep and different place to
Yep.
play. Basically, like you're going to the office, right? So that
Mm,
that is general good way to separate your personal life and your working life. So that is, I mean, probably the best way to be honest. But our own method to do it is that we have single room for everyone. So if you need to get away, you can just go to your room, and we don't have we try to not share room as much as possible, because the house we got was luckily enough big enough to have enough rooms for all of us to have single rooms. So everybody can just retreat to their room when things are not going well. But in
I
general,
see.
we just set I mean, we have a good team culture where we don't take things personally, and this happens very very well.
Mm.
It's
So I
all
guess
about
it all falls down to the players themselves as well, whether they can actually take things professionally or whether they
yes.
actually do. But okay, lucky for you, you have a good team culture. Your team seems to be matured in that sense. And we're gonna save Wang for last because he was the one who brought up this topic here. So let's go with Andrew first. Andrew, what about you? How do you take care of your team's personal and professional relationship?
For my team, we stay in the gaming house together, yeah, for months.
Mhm.
And unlike uh unlike Eric, we every player has its their own room, but have the players are living in the same room, so they are
I
sleeping
see.
together, they're eating together. So sometimes my players, what I encounter, my players are kind of too professional. They be like they they what they see if they don't like something, they don't say it, but I can see it from their face. Yeah, they're sitting together.
Okay.
They're like, oh, this guy is sleeping with me, and we are playing kind of shit in the tournament. So they don't say it out. They don't fight each other. They be like, hey, you play like shit. They don't do that because everybody is kind of shy in a way, or maybe they just don't dare to talk it out. So I'm there to like, hey man, I know what happened. Tell me. Then we will go to the living room. We sort it out, or the room I'm staying right now, the gaming room, the war room. We will sort it out. Like, hey, what's the problem? What are you doing? Can you say it?
I see.
Everybody's in the same room. Why we are not open? I heard stories of people that are number one, but they are fighting. They
Yeah.
win the tournament. They're
Yeah.
winning the tournament fighting, and my team is not fighting, but they are not winning. So yeah. So I really really really. So sometimes I wish, uh, why don't you fight? Like, what are you doing, man? Are you playing your top game right now, or are you playing
So,
like shit?
let me get it straight. Sometimes you do actually wish that these disputes actually happen in your team so that they're more open with everyone.
Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah,
For
yeah,
I
sure,
see.
man.
Well,
yeah.
that's a very interesting take as well. I mean, yes, I believe that I have to agree with you there. I believe that by fighting, at least you get to voice out what you feel.
Hmm.
You won't be too professional or too nice to your team. Not that you
Yeah.
don't have to be nice. It's just that it's
Hmm.
important to be open and honest and transparent about the situations like this. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's a very interesting take. So with that being said, Wang, let's talk about your damage control. For let's say if your teams are having issues with their balancing their personal and professional relationships. So how do you do it?
I think my group of teams, right, mostly are on the younger side, so they are not mature thinking yet, and some of them are more older and more professional. So when you mix them in a team, right, the younger ones tends to annoy the older one, but the older one also sometimes understands. So I think the only way we fix it is like we have more bonding session, bring the players to have activities, like force them to be together, because sometimes when they fight, our house is quite big, and it can fit like 15 people, so they just hide in their own corner, and then you as the manager, you will know one, why your team like got some problem, you can feel it
Mm,
one as the manager, because you are like basically seeing them all the time, then you have to resolve it as fast as you can. You cannot let it like resent, cannot leave it there and then just let it like it will just toxic the whole team. And
I
then
see.
yeah, then other than that, yeah, maybe more session, going out, activities, exercising, make sure they are fit mentally, because if they are always tired, and then they get annoyed easier, easier to get annoyed with their teammates. uh,
To get
so other than
tilted.
that, they get tilted.
Mm,
Mm-mm.
Sometimes it's the best to you let them fight it out. It's,
Yeah,
it's actually
true.
it's actually the like basically you can just put them in the living room, lock the door, and just have them fight it out. It ends up in a punching match. This is what happens.
Okay.
But but I mean generally they won't. But sometimes you get them isolated, they can talk about their true feelings and much much how do you say, civilized way. I mean, so in that way, yeah, as I said, everything's out in the open, so that you can. Yeah.
You
Sometimes
can
I
either
see
like move on
the best
and
teams, man.
improve.
They argue
Argue
so much. Holy
and then
crap!
make up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
After they
think I
make
guess it will make sense also because most of the time the top teams right that you see argue a lot. It's not that they're arguing for fun. I mean, it's not like they're arguing in spite of hating their teammate. It's just that everybody's looking to improve. So
Yes.
no, it's
it's a
just
good thing.
competitive spirit.
Yes.
They want the
Yeah,
best
and
out
that
of
is not.
everyone. If I'm doing my best, you have to perform your best too. It's like, but everybody has their up and down, right? So if he's doing bad, you need to carry him a bit. Yeah,
Mm.
you need to balance out.
Okay, for the next question, it's going to be a fun one here because I'm pretty sure you guys, as team managers, you would be spammed with people trying to get your attention to join your teams as the future rosters. So let's go to the local scene here first. So let's start with Wang straight away here. Wang, if I were to join Geek Fam as a pro player, what do I need to do to gain your attention? Actually,
It depends two ways. If I'm targeting an amateur or a really stable player. So if I'm targeting amateur, I think you need to be consistent in your results with your current team. And a few factors I need to see is like you need to be quite known, like averagely. And then I need to be able to get contact from your current managers or your past managers and see how your attitude is. Uh, Other than that, the results your results carry a lot of weight.
so Wang, is it safe to say that for you, this is personally for your point of view, the way you shortlist all these future potential stars for Geek Fam or for any team that you manage, it's just that they have to be a part of the esports scene already?
Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah, they have to be in the esports scene, because if not, if you are like totally new and then you want us to groom you, we don't
It's gonna
currently have
invest
that
more
time.
time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't currently have that time right now, but we have like a second squad that maybe you can enter. But for your target, you are targeting to be in Geek Fam or part of the professional team.
No, I mean,
That's
in general, if let's say you are managing a team and if someone keeps on bugging you to let them be a part of that team, for example, let's put Geek Fam in this situation here.
uh, I don't think he'll be able to contact me. So if this is the situation, but if legit somebody trying to join, I would think he needs to prove himself. Like play as much as he can. If he doesn't have a history, I still can consider if he's like totally outstanding. But if he's willing to learn, maybe I can give him a try. Maybe he's off. Like when we are not screaming, then they playing with our players. If he can bond
Mm.
well, they can see his play style can work with my players. I can consider it's not like totally out of the box to take an unknown player. I think every team has done that here before also. Yeah, like Miracle, I think he was playing for some teams but not well known one. But he's consistent in his results. So like he can be taken. But like totally you don't have any history in esports is quite hard to just
Quite
directly
difficult.
bring you and put you into the squad.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
And let's check with Andrew here. Andrew, what's your take on this?
I think the first thing first is your skills lah. You know, if you have to be really, 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 really good. So then I will consider a try. Then during the tryout, my me and my team will test you everything 360. Will test everything out of you to see are you really that good. Are you really all rounder? Can you fit in our team? So that then we be like, okay, this guy worth a try. But uh but this testing doesn't mean like 3 days or what. It's really testing throughout. Probably longest I have done is 1 month to see this guy is really good or not.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah. So
I
if
see.
you're good,
So
I yeah.
usually,
Mhm.
sorry to cut in a bit, because I was just wondering, usually do you scout out for the players or do you actually give a chance for players who actually approach you guys to be a part of your roster?
Um, I do scout when tournaments like PMPL. We have scoreboards, we have data. So all the tournament organizer, we have all the data for us to look at. Unlike Dota, Dota has a leaderboard. You know, you can know the top leaderboard, who's there, who's not there. You know, for PUBG, we have PMPL to see if we are looking for a professional player. You know, if you find scouting those Wang said, those
Mm,
new guys. You know, then they have to see they pass small tournaments. Are they good? You know, sometimes I don't even care if they small tournament, because the guy, uh, there's one guy there's one guy I did try. He make videos in Instagram. Okay,
I see.
his
Okay.
skills, his frags, everything. Then I'll be like, this guy is really good. You know, even my players are, wow, he's really good. Let's give him a try. You know, so we try him, but it doesn't work out. You know, but it's worth a try. If you're like, okay, this guy looks good. Let's try him in a professional setting. You know, scrims, pro scrims, top one scrims. So in the end, it doesn't work out. It's different. That guy is probably like a solo player. You know.
Mm.
Hmm.
So yeah, sometimes people out there, just because they're good playing solos doesn't mean they can work well in a team,
Yeah.
especially your team. That's the main concern
Yeah.
here.
Mm.
So with that being said, Eric, from Fnatic's point of view, Fnatic is a big team. Let's say if I were to join Dota, your Dota roster, what do I need to do to grab your attention?
Or if you like to join, generally, I mean, there has been previously been serious offers and non-serious ones. The serious offers, obviously, we will talk about it. You know? Just a short one. I mean, in general, because Dota is a own game, it's not really like a PUBG Mobile, new game, no, Mobile Legends new game. We have a lot of history, and there's a lot of things to go by that we check before we can consider the serious offers. I think everybody in this scene is almost already known. The personality is almost already known, all their good side and their bad side. So I mean, if you name anybody, I can tell you the good side and bad side in a way. Anybody, I'm not talking just about Southeast Asia. I'm talking about internationally as well. So the pro players at least, you know, their good side and bad side. So I think we have like a good idea of what we how we assess that, and in general, then we can see whether it fits our team or not. For the non-serious offers, I'm not talking, not saying non-serious, but so public people messaging us. Um, as Wang said, you really need to prove yourself. There's a lot of ways to prove yourself. There's the leaderboards in Dota. You know, the leaderboards is an easy way to prove yourself. 33 Savage got in through our team through that way. Mid one got in out to our team through that way as well.
I see.
Um, yeah, because back then we were looking for one guy, and we didn't have much options. So we were like, hey, now you know what? Why don't we try this guy? His MMR is high for a reason, right? So let's try this guy, and he turned out to be amazing. Look at him now. You know, he turns out to be amazing. So yeah, the chances of trying out people is a lot harder in Dota, I think,
Yes.
because the game is so, the separation between tier one and tier two is very very big, and it's not as luck based as I would say the mobile games. There are like drop spots and stuff like that, which can be a little bit random, and sometimes you might just lose because of it. And it's not as random as that, and so everything is very not as luckish. It's more skill based, and the separation really is very very obvious.
Very
So
obvious,
you will,
definitely.
yeah, you will be able to tell quite quickly uh, how good is a guy and how good his IQ. I think IQ is the underrated thing. IQ is probably the most important aspect that we
Mm.
look at. If you have the high IQ, you can make anything happen.
All right. Thank you very much, Eric. Okay, guys. So actually, we are almost reaching the end of the session. So this one is just like your point of view, a very quick point of view from you guys. So let's straight away go with Eric again. Eric, what would you say? What would you suggest to the government of Malaysia, or let's say, what would you suggest to Malaysians on improvements to the esports scene in Malaysia?
Malaysians in general, or just in general, or everything.
let's focus on Malaysia. Let's talk about how the esports scene in Malaysia, how we can improve it. What do you think?
I think the teams. I mean, Malaysia is very mobile centric now. We
Yes.
have the PUBG Mobile and the MLB being the biggest titles, and I actually think that. I mean, I talk a lot with a lot of managers and all people from all sorts of industry, all sort of corners of esports in Malaysia, and I actually generally think that the biggest problem is that the biggest problem in Malaysia is that the teams, you guys don't work together, man.
I
They don't
see.
they don't they don't work together towards like a bigger goal. I think that I'm not saying that you're gonna make unreasonable demands, but I'm just saying like there are stuff to fight for sometimes, and some people are getting thrown under the bus for no other reason, no reason, because nobody wants to work together. And I think the Malaysian team should work together more to achieve a bigger goal, which it should be easily attainable as well. That could improve the scene in general, and also for all the young gamers, out there. There are also obviously Malaysian government initiative is always good. I'm not exactly sure how they could help though, because the scene's already kind of thriving without them actually. So not exactly sure how they would help. Opening cyber cafe is definitely not helping, by the way. So
I see.
because that's what they think is helping apparently. So it's definitely not helping. There's a lot of cyber cafes around. So yeah, maybe I don't know, programs in school maybe.
All right. Thank you very much for your input. And Wang there looks like he has something to say. So Wang, definitely
Hey,
do share with us. Um, what would be some of the improvements that you would suggest in the Malaysian esports scene?
they should be more inclusive, not just like just they should take everyone's feedback. Like he said, Malaysia should work together. Actually, maybe start a more esports like Philippines, they have a esports like esports
License.
organization, right, Eric? Yeah. Like it's
It's like
easier for
a
the esports players to get like to go outside to go play for other teams or to get their visas done faster. The government will actually plan to help.
I see. So
Yeah.
we're looking at towards a more initiative towards more initiative from
Yeah.
the government itself to get to know the industry, to be more involved in
Yeah.
getting our place out there, bringing the Malaysian name. All right, thank you very much, Wang, for that insights. It's actually very detailed. And last but not least, Andrew, please do share with us what would be some of the improvements that you would suggest to the Malaysia esports scene. I mean, is there any recommendation that you would like to suggest to the government or generally the Malaysian community, esports community, or anything really? Any improvement that you like to share?
For the talents, I think really, need to recognize who's the top, who in recognition, need to let everybody know that playing games is not for fun anymore. Yeah, of course, it's fun, but it is a career for the players,
Definitely,
you know.
yeah, it's
So
definitely a career path for some as well.
yeah,
So that being said, thank you very much, Mr. Eric, Wang, and Andrew. So just to the audience out there, just a quick FYI: being a team manager is just one of the many employment opportunities in the world of esports. The industry itself is rising, so there's a lot of opportunities, ripe opportunities that has yet to be harvested from this industry. So to we hope that this discussion has helped you guys have a better look into the life of an esports team manager. Once again, thank you to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Esports Integrated for organizing Esports Integrated Conference 2021. Let's join our guests for a quick for a quick Q&A session after this.
to better in-game. Wait, I can't see what the last one is. Performance. Okay. What's the things they can share to foster good demands? There are a lot of ways. Obviously, I mean, to put it simply, winning kind of foster good relationship, right? So you win, nothing is wrong. So, but apart from that, obviously there are some other stuff as well. In general, a lot of people deal with relationship very differently. Some people are more quiet than others. Some people are more extroverted and they like to talk to each other. So you kind of have to balance it. But in general, I think any team building exercise would do the team really well. Team building exercise. When I mean team building exercise, basically it's I mean you can go out for breakout room, and then watch movie together, just do activities together in general. I know that COVID make things a little bit hard, but there are online stuff that you can do as well. Maybe you can watch a TV show together. I used to watch Game of Thrones with my players as well. We talk about Game of Thrones. In general, that would increase improve the relationship between the members, and in turn, they will be able to communicate much better in game as well. As I think that is basically the most important thing. I think trust goes a long way. When you trust each other, basically, I think things will work out a little bit easier. Yeah, conflicts will still happen, but I think it's much easier if you are actually friends with the guy.
I think should be pretty much the same. Just make sure they bond better, have more team activities, and yeah, Eric say winning. I think losing also should be one good point also, right? They can learn and discuss better what they can do for the future and what they did learn from their mistakes. Basically, that should be all from me. I think.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. But I want to add on is like maybe we can do some more sessions on like maybe through like heart-to-heart sessions that they can talk to each other like what hap- what I don't like about you in game maybe, or like I want to know you more, especially to the new players that are inside the team. So yeah, that's all for me.
How to overcome the problem of when the player overrule and make hasty decisions for himself or his team without consulting the management team beforehand. I think basically, there always is gonna be players like making decisions like that. Is very common, I would say. It's just that there, I think when the line has to be very clear between the players. So I would say this. I attribute this to a very good onboarding session with the players. When the players first come into the team, they have to know how the system works. So this is how the system works, and so that this kind of situation would, I would say, be a little bit. It can be prevented a little bit more. So I understand that a lot of players they do make hasty decision as well for himself, for his team. But I think one-on-one session to talk about those kind of stuff would generally help, depending on how severe the situation is. And if he really makes some really screwed up things and cause a lot of trouble for everyone, I think that maybe the contract has to be enforced or some penalty has to be taken. But I don't think that happens often. It's quite rare, I would say. But yeah, in general, one-on-one talk would normally fix the issue, and a good onboarding process before they come into the team. Just make it clear what is the line. Don't cross that line.
Yeah, I also agree. I think have one-on-one chat, understand where the player is coming from and why he took that action or why he decided to do that. But it also depends on how severe it is. And if it's a very severe action, then I think have to enforce penalties or punishment. And then yeah, I think he has to publicly apologize for what he has done if it is a very important, very big mistake or he racial things or something like that. But other than that, I don't think it will be much of a problem. Anything can be talked one on one, like Eric said. Mm,
I think like Eric said, like onboarding session, like we need to explain the SOP in the organization, in the company, so that he understands that he should not do anything stupid, before he do anything. So he should consult me or consult the management. So I want to be the point of contact for everything, for him and for his maybe any business if regarding him according to a contract. So yeah, like SOP, like everybody is doing right now. And beside that, penalties. Yeah, some people like to learn when they get penalty. They still cannot go out without getting punished lah. You know, to make that to have their to how to say to make sure they remember the lesson, the mistake that they did. So penalty must be done. And beside that, like he's our player, is my player. So in the end, we will protect him if anything happens. You know, if he did something stupid. So if we can fix it, we fix it. Then we only talk about a penalty afterwards.
Yeah, it's the last resort.
Hmm.
Other than coaches, what other professional resources would you invest in to foster sustainable performance in your team? What do you mean other than coaches? Professional resources. I mean, there are a lot of other professional resources. If you're talking about just jobs in general, there's always the performance coach. There's always an analyst. I do realize that in the more complicated games, one coach is typically not enough. Usually, there are a lot of too many angles to look at, and I don't think one guy can be enough to cover all bases. So typically, there would be a need for analysts, and an analyst sort of like a assistant coach to assist out in stuff that the coach will need to delegate. Apart from that, performance coach can also be hired. Performance coach generally watch out for communication and also watch out for um, like the injured players' behavior and patterns that they notice to be not optimal. Basically, simple things like sleeping late, eating junk food all day, drinking coke all day. Those are just not generally not good. And performance coach will have to come up with like some plans to make the team align and not commit any of that stuff because it would affect the performance. It's very small things. Who would think drinking coke would make you play worse, right? But scientifically speaking, it does slightly, but very very slight. But you always want to be optimal and be at your best performance. So I think these are the two other resources that you can get. Obviously, there's the because we're talking about performance here, right? There's obviously all the other social media people and stuff like that, to make you feel good and confident and get fans, more fans. So that builds confidence for some players, not all, but some players. So yeah.
I mean, for me, other than performance, should be a mental coach, right? I guess he will understand the players and know more things about them, and then like arrange schedules for them to exercise, put the schedules for sleeping, when they should be training and what they should be doing. Yeah, that's it for me, I think.
For me, actually, on my so many organizations I've joined, we have what's that thing? A psychologist for the player. Yeah, so the psychologist we have a one-on-one session to know like what's going on with them with their job, as in being a pro player and also like being a person outside of game. So like just now they say that maybe their sleeping patterns, those kind of stuff. So mental coach psychologist, I think is the same thing. So I have worked with psychologists before with the team, and also he's an analyst for my team also. So I got a very good guy in my team right now. So that's all for me.
I wasn't ready for this. I'm not very sure. Well, I guess support us. I know we're not doing very well recently, but yeah, I do I do hope for some support from the Malaysian crowd. We do have Malaysian players, by the way, in case people don't realize. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you for the support and continue to to support all Malaysian teams, not just the one that you like. Everyone deserves a standing chance. Don't be biased and just play one team. If there is only your one team that you are supporting but they didn't qualify, support the others. Don't be toxic.
Say thank you to everybody who support EVOS VIP, and like Wang said, don't toxic. Me and Wang, I support Wang. Wang support me also, and same to Eric lah. Although we different game, so yeah. Thank you everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.